Good morning students. The module 5 is based on the introduction to graph theory, where we'll be learning regarding the basic definitions of graphs and the example problems on this. The first session will be discussing regarding the directed graphs and the graphs. So regarding directed graph, a directed graph or digraph is a pair of vertices and edges where V is a non-empty set and E is a set of ordered pairs of elements taken from the set V. Now over here the set regarding the directed graph is nothing but the edges whatever is considered over here, you can see the directions over here, so that's why it is called a directed graph. So for example, here the corresponding initial vertex is called A. Initial vertex is A and terminal vertex is B. Terminal vertex is B and initial vertex is A. So here you can see the edge is getting passed from A to B, from A to B. So that edge, whatever the corresponding edge, this edge is called nothing but the corresponding edge, whatever is this, is nothing but the directed edge. So a directed graph definition is nothing but it is a pair of vertices. So the vertices set we have over here is A, B, C, D. So it is a pair of vertices along with the edges. So the edge set we have here is the directed edges. So the corresponding directed edges is nothing but AB, AC and CD. So you can see the arrow marks, based on that the directions is being decided. So it is a pair of vertices and edges where V is a non-empty set. So you can see here it is not an empty set, and E is a set of ordered pairs. Ordered pairs means direction is mentioned of elements taken from the set V. So this is regarding the definition of the directed graphs. Next concept is based on the directed loop as well as parallel and multiple directed edges. So the first one is regarding the directed loop. So this diagram is based on the directed loop. A directed loop is nothing but it is a directed edge beginning. So here it has been beginning and ending with the same vertex A is called directed loop. So the definition is nothing but a directed edge beginning and ending with the same vertex, beginning and ending with same vertex is directed loop. So this is the example for the directed loop. So you can see it's beginning from same vertex and ending with the same vertex. Regarding the parallel directed edges, a digraph can have more than one directed edges. Having the same initial vertex and the same terminal vertex. Then two directed edges having the same initial vertex and the same terminal vertex is nothing but the parallel directed edges. So here the definition is nothing but it should be a digraph. Digraph means there should be a direction within the graph and which will have more than one edges. So you can see here which will have the more than one edges which begins with the same vertex and ends with the same vertex. So this is regarding the parallel directed edges. So the definition is a digraph can have more than one directed edges, having same initial vertex and the same terminal vertex, having same initial vertex and the same terminal vertex This is called parallel directed edges. So this is regarding the parallel directed edges. Two or more directed edges having the same initial vertex and the same terminal vertex are nothing but the multiple directed edges. So you can see here two more than 2, that is 2 or more edges, 2 or more edges having the same initial vertex and the same terminal vertex is nothing but the multiple directed edges. So this is regarding the definitions of directed graphs. So in the directed graph, it's also called digraph. Why? Because you have the direction within the initial vertex and the terminal vertex, and it should be a non-empty paired set of vertices, as well as it should have an ordered elements of the edges. Then only it is called a directed graph. So as well as the definition of directed loop, as well as parallel directed edges and multiple directed, is nothing but directed loop which begins with the same vertex and ends with the same vertex. Parallel vertex, directed edges is nothing but which has same initial vertex and same terminal vertex, but it has 2 edges, more than that has 2 edges. And multiple directed edges is nothing but which has 2 or more directed edges which contains again the same vertex and the terminal vertex. So this is regarding the definitions of these concepts. Next definition is based on the isolated vertex and source and sink. Your isolated vertex is nothing but it is a vertex of the digraph which is neither an initial vertex nor an terminal vertex of any directed edge. So what does the isolated vertex means? Which isolation means who is separate from the group of members. For example, if you see over here, this V4 is a vertex which is not belonging to this and which is separate. It does not have any connection to this particular graph. So such vertex is nothing but the isolated vertex. So the definition is a vertex of a digraph which is neither an initial vertex nor a terminal vertex of any directed edge is called an isolated vertex. Is called an isolated vertex of the digraph. So this is regarding the isolated vertex which does not have any, means it does not have any edge, as well as it is not an initial vertex or a terminal vertex. So this is regarding the definition of the isolated vertex. Next is regarding the source and sink. A non-isolated vertex. What do you mean by a non-isolated vertex? Is nothing but it should have some edge. It should have some edge. So that is regarding the non-isolated vertex. A non-isolated vertex which is not an terminal vertex. Meaning of terminal vertex means edge. This arrow should not see in this example here. This is an initial vertex and this is the terminal vertex. Why? V1 to V2 the direction is given. So it is going from this to this. So when it going from V1 to V2, this is an initial and this is the terminal vertex. So a non-isolated vertex which is not a terminal vertex. So if you see here both are outgoing edges. If you see from V1, these both are outgoing edges. So which is not, this vertex is not a terminal vertex for any directed edge, then it is called a source. So here if you see the outgoing edges is there. So this is nothing but the source. You don't have any incoming edges. So for example, if you see V2 from all these directions, something is coming and joining to this terminal. Something from V3, some edge is coming and joining. It is a terminal. So from V5 to V2, it is coming and joining. So it is a sink. A non-isolated vertex which is not an initial vertex. So you see V2, it is not an initial vertex for any directed edge is called sink. So the definition is nothing but a non-isolated vertex which is not a terminal vertex, which is not a terminal vertex for any directed edge, is called source. That is V1. You can consider the example V1. Similarly, a non-isolated vertex which is not which is not a initial vertex, double quotes have written, that is repeated, for any directed edge is called sink, example is V2. So you can see the direction over here, V4 is the isolated vertex, V1 is the source, and V2 is the sink. So this is regarding the definitions of the isolated vertex, source as well as the sink. Next, let us see regarding the concept of in degree and the out degree. So in this concept of the in degree and the out degree, the number of edges for which V is initial vertex is called the outgoing degree. If you see here, for example, this V1, if you take it as an initial vertex and which has the out degree, you check over here, number of edges for which V is the initial vertex is called the outgoing degree, or it is an out degree. So if you see here, how many out degrees of V1 is there? You have two. So that is regarding the out degree. So I'll just write over here the number of edges for which V is initial vertex, is called the outgoing degree, or you can also call as out degree of V, and it is denoted by, out degree is denoted by D plus of V or out degree, OD of V. So this is the denotation for the out degree. And for the in degree, number of edges for which V is a terminal, for which V is a terminal is called in degree of V, and the in degree is denoted by minus D of minus of V or IDV. So you can just write. So here if you see V1, if you take it as an initial vertex, and what are the outgoing edges you have? That is called as the out degree. So if you see V1 to V2, it is there, V1 to V6 outgoing. So outgoing edges count is 2. And if you take it as number of edges for V1 incoming edges, so number of edges for which V is a terminal vertex, check V1 as a terminal vertex. So this is one arrow. So that is denoted by in degree, and it is nothing but for in degree for V1 is 1, and for out degree the V1 is equal to 2. So this is regarding the definition of the in degree and the out degree. In case if you have like both the in degree of some like V4, you check here, in degree of and out degree, in degree and out degree of V4 is 0, then it is an isolated vertex. Okay, then it is an isolated vertex. If, for example, if any vertex, if you consider, and if out degree is equal to 0, then it is nothing but V is a sink. And in case if you have in degree equal to 0, that is in degree equal to 0 if V is a source. So these are the basic constraints of the in degree and the out degree. So here if you see here about V1, I told let us calculate the in degree and out degree. First let us calculate the out degree of all the vertices over here. So I'll just write out degree of vertex 1, out degree of vertex 2, and out degree of vertex 3, and out degree of vertex 4, and out degree of vertex 5, and one more we have it as out degree of vertex 5, out degree of vertex 6. This is the out degree plus sign. So out degree of V1, if you check, it is 2 out degree, what is going outside the outside direction. So it is V1 is 2, V2 is again V2, if you check V2 also it is 1 outside, going from source to other direction. So outer edge, outside edge, out degree. Then V3 if you see it is over here. So you can see here one actual for this loop the edges count is 2 actually, but one it is in degree and one it is out degree. So V3 is 1, V4 is 0 isolated, V5 if you see our degree is 2, V6 if you see our degree is 2. One is this and one is this. Okay, so this is regarding the out degree. If you see in degree of V1 and all those things, let us check V2, V3, V4, degree minus V5 and V6. Okay, so V1 if you check in degree it is 1, you can see over here in degree is 1. V2 if you check in degree is 1, 2 and 3. 1, 2 and 3. V3 if you check in degree, see this, I told 2 loops, one for the out degree, one for the out degree and one for the outside. This is going out degree, I given 1 V2. Again this arrow is coming back, you know, for loop the edge count is 2, so in degree is 1. So again for V3 it is 1, in degree is for V3, so V3 in degree is this one as well as this one, so it is totally 2. V4 is isolated vertex. V5 if you check, you have 1, this one, and V6 if you check, you have 1 from V1 in degree, so it is 1. So this is regarding how you are going to calculate the out degrees and in degrees of the graph. So here the basic definition of in degree, how it is being denoted, and how to calculate the in degree and the out degree is being given. Next is regarding the property of the diagram. In every diagram D, the sum of the out degrees of all vertices is equal to the sum of the in degrees of the all vertices, each sum being equal to the number of edges in D. That means what they mean to tell is the summation, that is summation of I equal to 1 to whatever the number of vertices over here, D plus Vi, that is out degree, is equal to summation of I is equal to 1 to n D minus of Vi, and which is equal to total number of edges. For example, if there are total m edges, then the summation of the in degree plus summation is equal to summation of the out degree, and that is equal to the total number of edges. That is the meaning. So in every diagram D, now if you see in the previous example diagram D, the sum of all the out degrees of all vertices is equal to the sum of the in degrees of the all the vertices, each sum being equal to the number of edges in D. That means total number of edges in the D. Each sum is equal to the total number of edges in the D. Each sum being equal to the number of edges in the D. If you see in the previous example, so what they mean is summation of this. What is the summation of this? If you do sum of these, it is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is regarding the out degrees, and here if you do the summation, it is nothing but 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So here also you got 8. So you can see the in degree is equal to the out degree. So that means this illustrates the property of the digraph theory. That means whatever the property we had seen in the next slide. So it illustrates nothing but the property of the digraph theory. So total if you see what is the edges, total number of edges is nothing but 8 plus 8, that is equal to 16. So that is, for example, if this in degree is as some count of edges m and out degree as some count of edges m, the both are equal. The summation of in degree and the summation of the out degree is equal to each other. So here in every diagram D, the sum of the out degree of all vertices is equal to the sum of the in degrees of all the vertices, each sum being equal to the number of edges in the D. So the number of edges we have denoted it by m. So this is regarding the property of the diagram. Next we have one basic problem on this. So they have given the question as find the in degrees and the out degrees of the vertices of the diagram shown in the figure. So let us write the vertex first. Let us write the vertex. How many vertices are there? Totally 7 vertices. So let us write the vertices in table format. That is vertex, and then we'll write the out degree, and then we'll write the in degree. So let us write the vertex one by one. V1, V2, V3, V4, V5, V6, V7. So these are the 7 vertices. We'll see the what is the out degree for V1 and what is the in degree for V2. So the given diagram has totally 7 vertices, and totally if you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 edges. 12 edges. So the out degree you're going to calculate, and then you're going to calculate the in degrees. So that is equal to nothing but the total number of edges in this particular graph. Okay, so let us see out degree of V1. Out degree of V1, if you check here, out degree of V1 is nothing but 1, 2, 3, 4. And check also in degree, you don't have any inwards directions of edges over there, so it is 0. Come to V2. V2, if you check, out degree is 2 and in degree is 1, that is this. V3, if you check, out degree is 2 as well as in degree is 2, so 2, 2. V4, if you check, out degree is 1 and in degree is 2. Out degree is 1 and in degree is 2. If you check V5, out degree is 3 and in degree is only this. Out degree is 1, 2, 3 and in degree is this. So out degree is 3 and in degree is 1. If you check V6, out degree is 0. If you check V6, out degree is 0 and in degree is 2. And if you check V7, out degree is 0 and in degree is 4. So if you just do the sum of these, it would be nothing but 4 plus 2 is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, that is 12, and even this is equal to 12. So, and total number of edges is also equal to 12. We have already counted. So this table gives the out degree and in degree vertex, and we note that the sum of the out degree is equal to sum of the in degrees, that is equal to 12, and the total number of edges is 12. So this is regarding the example 1. Next concept is based on the graphs. We have the definition of the graph. A graph is nothing but it is a pair of vertices and edges. It is again a pair of vertices and edges where V is a non-empty set. So you can see here in the V we have A, B, C, D, and E is a edge set. It is a set of edges, but it is an unordered pair of elements. Like it can be written as AB, it can be written as AC or CA, it can be written as CD. So if we generally I wrote in same order, but if you had seen the definition of directed graphs in this graph, we have the vertices as same, which should be a non-empty set, but over there we had the regarding the edges we had the ordered pairs, but here we have the definition as we can have the undirected edges or unordered pair of edges. So this is regarding the definition of the graph. Next we have the concept of null graph and trivial graph. A graph which does not have any edge is called a null graph. So if you see over here, it has 3 vertices. And it does not have any corresponding edges over there, then it is called a null graph. And a null graph with only one vertex, for example if it has only one vertex, then it is called a trivial graph. So this is regarding the definition of the null graph as well as the trivial graph. So null graph is nothing but which has vertices but it does not contain any edges. Next we have the concept of order and size. So this is a very important concept, because when we solve the problems, instead of vertices they might use the term called order and size. For example, for the vertices we are representing it as order, and for the edges we are representing it as size. So you need to remember these two terms carefully. Whenever they tell order, it's always a vertex, and whenever they tell a size, it's always an edges. So the number of vertices in a finite graph is called order of the graph, and the number of edges in its graph is called its size. So size is nothing but representing the edge, and order is representing the vertices. Kindly remember these two terms, very important, because while solving the problems they will consider, instead of vertices and edges, they will just tell you the order of the graph is what is the order of the graph and what is the size of the graph. So that's how we are going to represent the vertices and the edges. In other words, for a graph, normal graph with G vertices and edges, the cardinality of the set E, namely E, is nothing but the size. So if you want to find the size of this particular graph, so if it is nothing but you're calculating the number of edges. So the number of edges is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that is E is 5, or else if you just tell size, it is 5, and the vertices is nothing but the order is equal to 4. Order is equal to 4. In other words, for a graph G is equal to vertices and edges, the cardinality of the set E, namely E, is called the size of the G. A graph of order N and size M is called the NM graph. So this is regarding the order and the size of the graph. And other way of representation, see here, this figure looks different than this. Okay, this figure looks different than this, yet they represent the same graph. Since this also has 4 vertices, this also has 4 vertices, 5 edges and 5 edges. If you see the connections, you see A to B connection is there, B to C connection is there, C to A connection is there, and C to D connection is there, and D to A again connection is there. So this graph is just an diagram of this graph, yet they represent the same graph, but they look different. So it looks different, yet the representation of the graph is same, and it conveys the same information that has 4 vertices and 4 edges. So this representation is nothing but, it is also called as the diagram of the graph. This is nothing but the diagram of this graph, and itself is referred to as a graph also, So over here you just need to remember that the order and size, where the number of vertices in a graph is called the order of the graph, and the number of edges in a graph is called the size of the graph. So for example, if they tell if they want to represent the order and the size of this particular graph, it would be nothing but 4, 5 vertices and edge, that is O and size. Okay, O and size. So this is regarding the order and the size. Next concept is based on the end vertices, loops and multiple edges. Generally, the vertices of the graphs, whatever the vertices of the graphs, are denoted by A, B, C, or else it may be denoted as V1, V2, V3. So these are how we are going to represent the vertices generally in the graph, and we denote the edges in terms of E1, E2, E3 and so on. So if we have two vertices denoted by something like Vi and Vj, denote two vertices of the graph, and if there is an edge called ek between these edges, and then these vertices Vi and Vj are called the end vertices of the ek. For example, if you see over here, E1 is the edge between V1 and V2. Okay, so this is nothing but the end vertices of E1. V1 and V2 are nothing but the end vertices of E1. So this is regarding the concept of the end vertices. And loop, regarding the loop, you know what is a loop, which has same initial vertex and the same end vertex. So here E4 is regarding the concept. We have the example, an edge such as E4 is called loop, and that edge actually has the count. If you remember, it as vertex 3, the edge count will be actually 2. Why? Because we don't have the direction, but for the loop the edge count is 2. So that is regarding the edge. And if the graph which has the same end vertex, okay, if a graph there are two or more, here you have same end vertex and initial vertex V1 and V4. If you have two or more edges, you can see two or more edges with the same end vertex, then the edges are called multiple edges. If you have two or more with same initial vertex and the end vertex, then they are called as the multiple edges. So this is the concept based on the end vertices, loop, as well as the multiple edges. Next concept is based on the simple graph, multi-graph and the general graph. A graph which does not contain any loop, if you see in the previous diagram, it actually contains the loop as well as the multiple edges. A simple graph is nothing but a graph which does not contain any loop and multiple edge is called a simple graph. For example, if I tell this diagram like A, B, C, D, you can see over here it does not contain any multiple edges. Multiple edges means same initial and terminal vertex which should have two or more edges, and you don't have any loop like structure. Like this structure, loop is something like this, we don't have any structure of loop. So this is an example for this simple graph. So a graph which does not contain loops and multiple edges is called a simple graph. A graph which does not contain a loop, okay, which does not contain a loop is called a loop free graph. A graph which does not contain a loop is called a loop free graph. And a graph which contains multiple edges but no loops. So you can see this example. This is a graph, okay, this is a graph which contains a multiple edge, multiple edges, you can see two or more multiple edges, but there is no loop, then it is called a multi-graph. A graph which contains multiple edges or loops, that means which contains multiple edges or loops, is called general graph. Okay, is called general graph. So for this example, you have the previous one. If you see the previous one, this has a loop also, this has a multiple edge also. So a graph which contains multiple edges or loop is called a general graph. A graph which contains multiple edges but no loop is called a multiple graph. A graph which does not contain a loop, which, for example, it may be any graph, this graph, okay, this graph, or else which has like this, okay, which has multiple edges, is called, loop means what? It should begin and end with the same vertex. Here it is, initial vertex is this, terminal vertex is this. So a graph which does not contain a loop, is called a loop free graph. So in this concept we have learned regarding what is a simple graph, what is a loop free graph, what is a multiple graph, and what is a general graph. So this is regarding the concept of simple graph, multiple graph, and the general graph. Next is regarding a complete graph. A complete graph is nothing but it is a simple graph of order greater than or equal to 2. So I told, remember the order. Order is nothing but vertices which is greater than or equal to 2. A simple graph is nothing but which has vertices greater than or equal to 2, in which there is an edge between every pair of vertices, is called a complete graph. Okay, in which there is an vertex between every pair of edges, every pair of vertices, there is an edge, then it is called a complete graph. So this is a graph of order greater than or equal to 2, in which there is an edge between every pair of vertices. So if you see here, this is a graph order, you can represent 2 vertices, means it is represented as K2. If it is 3, it is K3. If it is 4, it is K4. If it is 5 vertices, it is K5. So you can see that order is written over here, K4. If it is with edges, right, you can see here K2 comma 1, edges is 1. Okay, so this a simple graph of order greater than 2, which there is an edge between every pair of vertices. So this is the vertices, there is an edge between every pair of vertices. So here also, every pair of vertices there is an edge. Even over here, see, every pair means what? It should be connected. So if you see here, this is connected to this, this is connected to this, this is connected to this, and here also this is connected. So every pair of vertices there is an edge between them, then it is called a complete graph. So this is regarding the definition of the complete graph. Next concept is based on the bipartite graph. So bipartite graph definition is, suppose a simple graph. That means, what do you mean by a simple graph which does not have a loop as well as a multiple edge? So that is regarding the simple graph. Suppose a simple graph G in such that its vertex is set V. So over here the vertex is set V is the union of 2 of its mutually disjoint non-empty subsets. That means you have a vertex set V which is a union of 2 non-empty mutually disjoint subsets V1 and V2, which are such that each edge in G, that means each edge in graph, joins a vertex from V1 to V2. Then that graph is called a bipartite. Now what is the meaning of the bipartite graph is, you have a vertex set V is equal to A, B, C, P, Q, R, S, which is a union of 2 non-empty, which is a union of 2 of its mutually non-empty disjoint subsets. What do you mean by disjoint subset? Means whatever the vertex ABC you have involved over here, those same vertex you are not supposed to involve over here. So that means it is a disjoint subset. That means ABC is here, PQR is here. So that is the union of 2 disjoint subsets. Okay, V1 and V2, which are such that each edge in G joins a vertex in V1. That means from this to this it joins a vertex. That means you cannot have a vertex joining within, you cannot have an edge between A to B, B to C, or P to Q. Between these itself you cannot have the edge, but you can have an edge which joins a vertex from V1, that is from this, to a vertex of V2. So this is the concept of the bipartite graph. So what are the conditions if you want to write? It is nothing but, for example, consider the graph. This is the graph which has a vertex at ABC, all these vertex, and these are the edges, and then we have the subsets of those, union of subsets of this will give this itself, that is V1 and V2, such that V1 condition 1 is V1 and V2 are disjoint. V1 and V2 are disjoint. What do you mean by disjoint? Whatever the vertex you have involved over here, you cannot have same vertex over here. That is the first condition. And second condition is every edge in G means it is nothing but the graph, joins a vertex in V1, and a vertex in V2. So that is regarding the every edge. That means you can see over here, it joins a vertex from V1 to V2, V1 is the subset, B to C, C to C, okay? And G contains no edge. Third condition is G contains no edge that joins two vertices, both of which are in V1 or V2. So this graph is nothing but the bipartite graph. So what I'll repeat the definition. You have a set of vertices which is a certain subset of two vertices, that is V1 and V2, and both should be disjoint. That means whatever is there in V1 should not be there in V2, and every edge, there should be an edge between this V1 and V2, but there should not be an edge within the V1. So G should not contains no edge that joins two vertices, both of which are in V1. So that is regarding the definition of the bipartite graph. So if we see over here, this is just a bipartite graph. It has a connection from A to P, A to Q, A to R, but it does not have a connection to A to S. Okay, in case if it would have a connection from A to S, okay, let us assume if it has a connection from A to S, then it would be a complete bipartite graph. That means what? They should be an like from B to P, B to Q, B to R, B to S, all the edges should be there, all the edges from B. Now for example, from A itself, there should be all the, from this vertex to all the vertices of this second set, from this vertex to all the vertices of the second set, from this vertex to all the vertices of this set, then it would be a complete bipartite graph. But in case if there is some edges, edge, that means if every edge in G joins a vertex in V1 and a vertex in V2, that means some edges are there, not all, some edges are there. That means from this to this there is one or two more edges, then it is called a bipartite graph. In case if it has all the edges, then it is called a complete bipartite graph. So here if you see complete bipartite graph G, which again has a subset V1 and V2, I told, right, vertex again same like this, it should have same like this, vertex V1 and V2. Okay, and then edge is called a complete bipartite graph if there is an edge between every vertex V1 and every vertex V2. That's what I told. If you have, for example, if it had, for example, if this itself, if it had a edge like this, something like every vertex from A to B, and again if it had a edge over here, if it had an edge over here, and if it had an edge over here, and from this again it had an edge over here and again over here, then it is nothing but a complete bipartite graph. So again it is a set of V1 and V2 with edges, okay, and it is called a complete graph if there is an edge between every vertex V1 and every vertex V2. So these are some example of complete bipartite graph. So if we see over here, how can you split up this into vertex 1 and vertex 2? So you can see from A all these are connected. So one vertex is of just A, one V1 is of just A, other one is vertex is of P, Q, R. So A to P, A to P, A to Q, A to R connection is there. Here also one vertex set is A, then you have other vertex like this is V1, and other vertex V2 will consist of M, N, R, Q and P. Then you can see all the connections. connection. So that is 1 comma 5. This is subset of 1 comma 3. That is vertex 1 consists of 1 vertex and this 3 vertex, 1 comma 5. Over here 2 comma 3, A and B. See these connections, you can see here, A to P, A to Q, A to R, B to P, B to Q, B to R, and K of 3 vertex, and all these are connected. So this is regarding the complete bipartite graph. So these are all the definitions of the graph concept. The problems based on this we'll learn in the next session. Thank you.